2. No, not the movie, the game, and not the game based on the movie, and not the game that's a sequel to the game that was based on the movie. I'm talking about Spider-Man 2, the one that came out last year. Spider-Man 2, the one that came out last year, is probably one of the most like heated topics in the Marvel Spider-Man area, or like, you know, area side or whatever you want to call it. Because every time you bring up this game, it's either gonna get a lot of hate or it's gonna get a lot of love. And I do think some of that hate is deserved, but I also think a lot of that love is also deserved. But in my opinion, Spider-Man 2 is one of those games that I actually kind of have a love-hate relationship with. Because, you know, I don't hate it, but there are a lot of things that just make me mad or make me a bit just sad. But there's a lot that I do love too. So today I'm gonna talk about the things I love and didn't love about Spider-Man 2. Now that the game is over a year, and now that the game has been in my mind, in our minds for like the past year or so, I think right now would be the perfect time to talk about just Spider-Man 2 and talk about, like, you know, all the memories we had with it, and like the experiences and how fun it was, and like all the things, and whether it was really like, was it really that good or was it really that bad, type of thing. Yeah. All right, to start with, when the first trailer for Spider-Man 2 came out, I came from school. I hopped on YouTube, and the first thing I saw was Spider-Man and Wolverine. I'm pretty sure I clicked on the Spider-Man one first. Actually, no, I probably clicked on the Wolverine one because that was the more shocking, because nobody knew about that one. But then I saw the Spider-Man 2 trailer, and yeah, from there it was 2021 it was. And then we waited 2 years for the game, but after the trailer, after the main trailer, you know, that was CGI trailer, the one that came out in 2021, we didn't get nothing for a whole year, bro. A whole year. From 2021 to 2023, to May of 2023, I mean, there was nothing. We got absolutely nothing. Some of us actually thought the game might actually get delayed, that there was problems or whatever, because there was absolutely nothing for the next like year and a half, which is insane to me. And then in May of 2023, I was I was in 9th grade. I was a freshman, and it was after, like, yeah, that's how long it was. I was in middle school when they dropped that first trailer, and then I was already in high school by the time they dropped the next one. But anyways, when they dropped that one, I remember seeing it and being excited for it. I remember some of the controversy, of course, going around it, but also I didn't really mind because it's Spider-Man 2, bro. It's Spider-Man. Of course I'm gonna buy it. Of course I'm gonna play it. Of course we're all gonna play it. And then of course they dropped the main official trailers like around the summer and all that, and the gameplay and all that. And most people, it looked good. For most people it looked good, and for me it looked good. I love the first two games. That's something I also want to say. I love the first two. The first two are nothing but fun games, and the first one especially. The first one just holds a special place in my heart and a lot of people. And the first one I actually do think is the best out of the three. But anyways, okay. But then came the game, right? The release date. When we first started getting the reviews, everybody was saying that it was like one of the top games of all time, and like superhero games, right? Some people were saying like it's better than Arkham City. It was out there with Arkham City, and like once the game finally dropped, yeah, it was getting a lot of love. Like, it was hard to see anybody hate on it. But then give it like a month, a couple weeks, and then out of nowhere you started seeing all the comments, all the videos saying that Spider-Man 2 was absolute trash, and that it was like a downgrade from the first one. Listen, it's definitely not as good as the first one, but to call it absolute trash, come on now. It's not trash. It's just not as good as the first one. It's definitely a little bit of a downgrade, but it's like overall it's not like a huge downgrade. Because if we're talking about like comparing the first game to the second game does better things than the first game, but the first game does better things than the second game. But overall I do think the first game is better. There are things that the second game does better, but overall, yeah, that was my experience with Spider-Man 2 in like the Discord, so that like in the Discord online. And to be fair, something I also want to say, I did not play this game till like December, so I had to wait 2 months. So yeah, I basically got spoiled on everything that happened, not by my own choice. Like, I did not choose to those thumbnails. I did not choose for those thumbnails to be recommended to me. It's not my fault, okay? I probably should have stayed off the internet, but yeah, I got spoiled on every TikTok, on YouTube, everywhere I went. It was spoilers. And by the time I played the game, I wasn't shocked or surprised by any of it, because I already knew what was gonna happen. But I still didn't take away from the experience I felt and how fun it was. So yeah, let's get in. Now I want to just talk about the stuff that I love and the stuff that I didn't love. Now, a lot of people have already said this, but the gameplay is the best out of the three. The gameplay is so much fun. You could legit play that for like hours upon hours, and you will not get bored, because that gameplay really is something. I actually think it's like the best combat in any superhero game. I think it's better than the Arkham games. The only thing that comes close is Arkham Knight. It's either Arkham Knight or Spider-Man 2. It's either one of those two. And I think Arkham Knight I don't know. Arkham Knight, it could be. It's one of the two for now. But like those two right there, amazing gameplay. But Spider-Man 2's gameplay is better than the last, because it's so fun. It's so like fluent and like so much fun. It's smooth. You know, like, I don't know, you can almost feel like the punches sometimes, especially with the controller, sometimes vibrating and all that. Like, yeah, the gameplay is just so much fun. The swinging is faster, the web points, all that, like freaking amazing, and like the tricks and the things you could do with the webs, just incredible stuff. It makes me feel like Spider-Man. It makes me feel like Spider-Man, and it's incredible. Like it truly does make you feel like Spider-Man for like the 20 hours that you play the story for, or actually like the 25 hours that you've played the whole 100% of the game. Which is one of the things that I do not love. It's just how short the game is. I think there are short games that are good. Like, I think a good example would be Infamous Second Son. I played that game over the summer, and it's not very long. But it's not a very long game. But I think the short time actually helps it a little bit. But with Spider-Man 2, the short amount of time that it has, which is what, like 10 hours or like 20 hours to 100% completed, that's just way too little. The reason is why it's like a little bit too little. Look at something like Arkham Knight. You look at Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight has like what, 50 hours worth of gameplay, or like worth of playing and all that and completing. But like Spider-Man 2 only has like 20 hours. It's like, it's just, I don't know, it feels like there's just, once you finish it, there really is nothing to do, and it doesn't take you that long to finish it. So I think that's the biggest problem with it, is that it doesn't take you that long to finish it, and once you finish it, there's nothing to do. At least with something like Arkham Knight or Red Dead or God of War, those games, they take time, and you actually feel like you went through like an experience or something like that, you know? You feel like you went through a whole journey and all that, because you feel the time, you feel all that, and like, yeah, like I just do think it being a bit shorter. I know it's not that short, but like still, I think it feels like the game was rushed. And yeah, it was rushed. You definitely feel that, especially how short it is, and like you just don't feel the length. You know, the game's like 10 hours. It doesn't feel like 10 hours. It feels more like 5 hours. It just goes very fast. It definitely needed more time. What we got, I still did very much like, but I think the game needed like an extra 5, maybe 10 hours. Now, probably one of my favorite things is Peter Parker in the game, or Spider-Man. Peter Parker in the game, I think, is probably one of my favorite versions of the character. Why? Because the symbiote and the story goes through there. A lot of people, for some reason, get mad that Peter was nerfed in this game, when I don't really understand that. Dog, this game is like 70% a Peter Parker game and like 30% a Miles Morales game. Peter literally gets all the big storylines, while Miles gets the little like side stuff. Like, Peter gets all the big stuff and Miles just gets a little of the side stuff. Like, I don't understand why people say that the game was trying to put like Miles above Peter when it really wasn't. Because the game, it mainly focuses on Peter. Peter is the main character in this game still. Even though Miles is there, Miles isn't the main character. Peter is. Peter gets all the big stories. Who does Craven hunt to like the majority of the game? Peter. Who does the symbiote bond with? Peter. Who is Venom's best friend? Peter. Like Peter, like it's Peter. Like he's the one that gets most of the story in the game. Well, Miles does still get like a good story with it. Where Lee, it's not like as big as Craven and Venom and the symbiote storylines. And that's also another one of my problems, is the fact that Miles doesn't get much to do. Like, the game, it was like, the game doesn't give Miles much to do. They give Miles the most boring side missions. They give Miles the little side stuff in the story. They don't give him much to do. He's kind of just there most of the time. He doesn't really do anything until like the final couple hours when he's fighting Peter and the symbiote, and then he like fights Venom. But everything before that, he's just kind of there. I think that's probably my problem with it, is Miles doesn't really do a lot. And like, they don't really do a lot with him. Like in the first half of the game, they don't do a lot with him. And in the second half, they do a little bit more, but they still don't do a lot. Another thing that I really liked was Craven. Craven in the game, I know some people don't like him, but I really liked him. He was cool, he was menacing, he was probably the best version of the character. There's only one thing I don't like about him, and that's the fact that he doesn't... One, they made him a little bit too powerful, because the fact that he was able to do that Peter makes no sense. But also, I think the fact that he doesn't have that relationship with Spider-Man that I would like him to. Like, the only reason he goes after Peter was because he had the symbiote. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I would prefer, like, if it was Craven and Spider-Man, normal Peter, having that rivalry. Yeah, I think that would have been a little bit better. I don't know. That's just another part of the Craven story that I like a little bit more. Another medium is the fact that Craven has that rivalry with Spider-Man, and the fact that Spider-Man is better than Craven, and Craven can't accept that, so he wants to hunt down Spider-Man to prove that he's the best out of the two. So when you make Craven so powerful that he's literally able to one-shot Peter, Yeah. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I wasn't the biggest fan of that decision, but overall, I do think Craven was a great villain. But overall, Doc Ock still a better villain. Doc Ock was still the way better villain. Doc Ock is better than both Craven and Venom in this game. Like, yeah, Doc Ock is still the better villain, the best villain this franchise has done so far. But Green Goblin though, Green Goblin. If they messed up Green Goblin, I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, there's no way. Okay, yeah, they're not gonna mess them up. You know why? Because Green Goblin, that is the one villain I know Insomniac is actually gonna cook for. That is the because they have been setting this man up since the first game. Since the first game, for the last 5 years, they have been setting him up. 6 years almost now. 6 years. It's been 6 years since the first one came out. That's how long we've been waiting, and we're gonna have to wait like another 5 years to see if Green Goblin. They better cook with Green Goblin. I'm just saying. But overall, another thing that I also loved and it kind of didn't like was the symbiote storyline. I love the symbiote storyline in this game. It's fantastic. But there's just a little wasted potential there. For one, Peter just doesn't have it for very long. He had that thing for 2 days and he was already going crazy. That doesn't, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that again. Yeah, this game has a lot of decisions I'm not the biggest fan of. But like, I think Peter having it only for 2 days and already going crazy. I don't know. I feel like they should have. The game needed more time with the symbiote. It needed more time with Peter and the symbiote, and it needed more characters to react to Peter's change, like a Black Cat or more stories or more reactions from the main characters reacting to Peter. There's really only two scenes where they react to Peter being acting different, and that's when he says, "I'm the hero, not you," and when he talks to Miles' mom. Those are the only two scenes when like the other characters look at Peter and realize that he really is changing. But then after that, he loses the symbiote, so it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, it needed more scenes, and it need he also needed to have a more reaction to Peter acting the way he was as Spider-Man. Like, maybe some news report about Spider-Man being a little bit more brutal, or like he's breaking bones, he's making people bleed, or something like that. Like, I don't know, more something like that. But like, yeah, the symbiote storyline had a lot more potential. But for what we did get, it was great. I did love it, but I hate the fact that it had so much more potential and it didn't live up to it. So yeah. Another thing I loved and hated it at the same time was Venom. Now, for me, I do like this Venom more than I don't like him. I know a lot of people do not like this Venom, and I know a lot of people love this Venom. For me, I do like him, but I do kind of don't like him at the same time. I think for one, Venom in this game, he feels more like a Godzilla villain. He doesn't feel like a Spider-Man villain. For one, he's way too powerful in this. Like, if Peter did not have that white suit, he would have been cooked a long time ago. Venom would have he would have tore him in half. He would have ate his head. He would have done all these things to Peter before Peter could have done nothing about it. Peter wouldn't do nothing about it because he could not do nothing about it. He wouldn't be able to touch Venom if he did not have that suit. Which is like, I think that's a bit of a problem. You made Venom way too powerful in that. He had wings, he had a symbiote army, he was trying to take over the city, he was trying to take over all the world. This man was an Avengers level threat. Like, this man was a menace. He has to be stopped. I don't know why they didn't call the Avengers, but hey. But I do think that aspect of Venom is cool. It's not my favorite aspect of Venom. I think my favorite versions of Venom are the ones that is like Eddie Brock and Venom, and together they're like united by their hatred of Venom. They're united by their hatred of Spider-Man, and the fact that both the symbiote and Eddie hate Spider-Man and they want to ruin his life. That's my favorite stories for Venom. When Venom just wants to ruin Spider-Man's life, and then maybe eventually they become buddies. I think that's probably what I feel like they could have done instead of this whole thing about Venom trying to take over the world. I think it being Harry does work a little bit because it does add a little bit more emotion to it than if it was just Eddie, who had to have been introduced in just this game. But I do think that the problem with it being Harry is the fact that Venom, the symbiote, and Harry, they don't bond. Like, Venom just takes over that Harry, and there's like no Harry in there. It's just Venom. Like, there's no we. It's more I. I don't even know why he says we, because like Harry ain't even there, bro. Harry's not agreeing with what Venom is doing. Like, the movie version, at least, that we actually makes sense because it's both Eddie and the Venom, the symbiote, actually saying that together. But with Harry was being possessed by that Venom symbiote. Like, he was being possessed, and like, I feel like it would have been better if like maybe they made it so like they were all together and that Harry was actually wanting to do all of this that Venom was doing. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. What do I know, man? I didn't make this game. I didn't write. I didn't do any of that. I'm not better than the people who made this game. But yeah, overall, I do like this Venom. But yeah, it's not my favorite version. I do think the movie one is better because you know he has all the goofy aspects of Venom I like, and he's funny. So yeah. Pussy. So basically, to summarize what I said, I love this game. I think it's an 8 out of 10 for me. But I hate the fact that there's so much wasted potential in its characters, in its story, in its life, and it's wasted potential that could have been something way better than what it was. This game could have easily been a 10 out of 10 game had it just had more time, had the story been a little bit more developed, had this game been better. I think this is a game that could have been better. But it sucks that like it was so much wasted potential. But for what we did get, I still very much enjoyed it. I'm done yapping now. I probably yapped a bit much already. Yeah, what did you guys think about Spider-Man 2 now that it's been over a year? Leave it down in the comments. And yeah, thank you for watching and goodbye.
That man's an imposter. That man is the imposter.